Hey everybody, welcome to David's Life and Observation with your host David Welch. Today's oh shit or no shit moment is brought to you by the motherfuckers at Fort Hood, where you have one post commander being relieved of duty and he's not able to transfer where he wants to go. Yo, multiple bodies on your post and you're only getting fired? Bruh. That motherfucker and the entire chain of command from every goddamn platoon, every damn command substructure within the post, all of the leadership's heads should roll. If a soldier died in your unit and it was preventable, or you marked that motherfucker AWOL because that was the safe route instead of doing an investigation and going to look for said soldier, calling them. I mean, one, the post should have been on lockdown and should still be on lockdown because there are probably hundreds, if not 1,000 bodies buried on post somewhere and in some fashion. In fact, the entire radius within, I'd say all the way up to Temple, should be thoroughly investigated for murders against Fort Hood soldiers. Because, we just had number 8? Oh, it was a boating accident. No, the fuck, it wasn't a boating accident. And if someone has a boating accident, how are they not recovered immediately? For real. Like, it is the darndest thing to lose that many soldiers, and that's just the murders. You're not talking about the hundreds of soldiers that commit suicide on post each year. You're not even counting those numbers. Like, my wife and I lived there. Okay, we lived right on Karankawa. We lived right there, right on post, right next to the base PX, right there. Like, you roll on base, you hang a left, first right, bam, you're in our neighborhood. Okay? It is beyond my understanding that this base has not been thoroughly investigated by everybody for a long time. Like, that's not even including, so you're not even including the suicide numbers. Talk about the lives ruined because of the base and their personnel getting CPS involved and getting lower enlisted people's kids taken away for months on end. Talk about that. Talk about the crime syndicate that is the Coryell County Sheriff's Department, the Coryell County judge cabal over there, the Killeen, judges and everything like that. It is a racket that needs to be thoroughly investigated by federal authorities. In fact, people who've had cases in the last, I'd say 3 or 4 years, they should be getting millions from the base, from the local municipality. You got Coryell County and the state should be funding this as well, because there are high crimes being committed against the people in this area, and the only reason it doesn't come back to bite them in the ass, well, it hasn't up until now, because they do everything in their power to silence soldiers from speaking out about what's going on post. They threaten them. In fact, we have several friends that are still on post that are being threatened right now. They say, hey, if you go public with the information you have, we're going to do everything we can to get you out of the Army. We're going to demote you. We're going to do everything we can. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Like, I can't even understand Fort Hood right now. I can't understand how, like, you got one post commander who's taking the fall for it. No. That's too easy. That's way too easy for what's going on. I'm talking all the way down to NCOs should be relieved and freaking loss of rank up the wazoo. I'm talking wholesale loss of rank. You got E7s on there that are just failures. You know, you got Sergeant First Class that are failed. You got, I mean, how many tops have failed? You got top who's supposed to be taking care of everybody, who's, you know, your main person. You got direct NCOs in charge of these soldiers, of the soldiers that are dying, and they're not doing their job. So every NCO that's been promoted, every NCO that's had to deal with these soldiers that have passed away, maliciously, I'm talking murdered, most of them. I'd say the last one wasn't technically a murder, though I would investigate it as a murder. Anyways, you, all of their fucking heads should roll. I'm not talking just, oh, we're going to write a counseling for you. No, I'm talking loss of rank and pay. In fact, that base should be on lockdown, I'm telling you, for as long as it takes to recover all of the bodies, to do all of the digging, all of the evidence, and it should be public. Should absolutely be made public, because it is a disgrace what is going on post. It is a disgrace what happens in Killeen. It is a disgrace what happens in Coryell County right next door, which is Copper's Cove. It is absolutely atrocious what happens to soldiers there. It is absolutely unbelievable that this shit hasn't happened as far as investigations against them. I'm telling you right now, it's not just Fort Hood. It can't be just Fort Hood. However, Fort Hood is one of the more dangerous entities in the freaking places. I mean, you should get a campaign badge for surviving Fort Hood. That's how bad that place is. I mean, you're talking people like, you know, they show up at PT, you got people like dead in vehicles, dead in trunks. They don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about the special warfare guys that go nuts and start shooting at people. They don't, none of that. All that's happened in the last couple of years. They won't make a peep about it. And they'll deny everything. They'll say, oh, that never happened, when everybody on post knows it happened. Everybody on post knows it happened. But they'll never go to the news with it. And then, you know what the problem is, too? Is you got the Killeen and you got Copper's Cove right there, those news outlets. They're in cahoots with the base. They immediately submit to the base's will. As soon as the base says, hey, pal, you're not going to release that story, they kowtow to them so fucking hard, because it's the backlash, or the, I don't know if it's the readership or whatever happens, whatever threats are made, they're viable enough to say, hey, your local news stations won't report it. You know, you got international news outlets that are picking up everything, but have you heard a word from the Cove Banner, or, you know, the Killeen, you know, newspaper? Are they running stories on this? Are they doing an investigation? Probably not. Nope. Nope. And if they do a report on anything, it's going to be local sports. It's going to be so-and-so's agricultural thing. You know, it's going to have nothing to do with what's going on base. It's going to have nothing to do with the murders. It's going to have nothing to do with anything that's of import. Because they're literally being either threatened, or they're just in cahoots with everything, and they're just, you know, waving the flag and saying yes sir to everything that the base tells them to say. That's not journalism. Journalistic integrity has been lost. Like, we live in a time that's fucking amazing, because we live in a time that none of the major media outlets are trusted whatsoever. We've lost the Walter Cronkite, hey, deliver the facts, deliver the information, and then you make of it what you will. That doesn't happen anymore. We have pundits that are like, well, the Democrats are, the Republicans are, the Libertarians, you know, they literally pick a party. Like, you can name a news entity and know where they align politically. If I say CNN, NBC, MSNBC, anything like that, everybody's going to go liberal media. And then you say Fox News, Breitbart, The Blaze. Those are conservative media. And then you have the ignorant masses that are like, well, yeah, I watch Fox News every night, and I believe everything Tucker Carlson says. Like, the fuck? Like, come on, people. And then you have, like, because it's a military installation, you don't hear shit from Fox News. Not a word, not a peep. Like, bruh, what's going on is national news. The Army needs a fucking overhaul. They need leadership to come through and really gut, what's going on. And it makes sense because you have soldiers on Fort Hood, and I don't blame the soldiers themselves. These motherfuckers have been fighting in wars. They're just on this cyclical type of like this surge deployment cycle that's insane. You have, as soon as one unit leaves, I mean, the other one's gearing up. They're training, and then deployment hits, and then they're in Kuwait, or then deployment hits and they're in Iraq, and then deployment hits they're in Afghanistan, and then they come back. I'm like, these people have been on edge and have been shooting at motherfuckers for over a year. So then you're going to bring them back into society and be like, listen, pal, you're going to act entirely normal. You're gonna drop your testosterone level down. You're gonna get a good night's sleep, and we're gonna take care of you. But then you wake up in the morning and Sergeant's still up your ass, like, get your ass out of your bed, and then it's still PT, salute the flag. So these guys don't get a break. They don't get a real one. And if you go on leave in the military, they fucking shame you. They absolutely shame you for taking time. If you go to the mental health office, you'll never hear the end of it. Never. They're going to be like, what do you need mental health for? You've only been on 4 deployments. I've been on 10. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. Like, even if you work in the motor pool, you don't think motor pools get mortared? You don't think mortar pools get, like, snipers in there? You don't think people infiltrate bases and shoot motherfuckers up eating chow? It happens all the time. I would say 90% of the shit that actually goes on in Iraq and Afghanistan don't get reported anymore. 90% of it's just like, it's just another day. No, these people are facing harrowing shit. Has it died down since probably when I was there? Absolutely. But it's not even confirmed. You can't emphatically say that. These guys are still going on missions, still taking out, people over there, and they're on patrol, they're on edge, they're being shot at, they're being mortared, they're being missiled. Of course they're going to have PTSD. Of course they're okay with murdering motherfuckers. They're going to be okay with it. Now, we back in the United States who've been kind of cooling our heels for a while, we're going to see that as appalling. But to them, it's perfectly fine and normal, because that's what happens when you're in a war zone. They bring the war back home. And then they're shunned for having to, to try and seek help. I can't even tell you how many NCOs that I've run into, and even, privates and things that I've run into, specialists that I've run into, like, they're not okay. They are not okay. They're not just worried about what's going on in the present with them, but they're worried about what's going on at home. If you have a good NCO, he makes sure he takes care of all of that. You have your will signed. You have, but all these NCOs, some of them are making rank so fast, or some of them just don't flat out care, that they don't take care of their soldiers. And you see it all the time where you got a soldier who's, consistently going AWOL, they're going, to and from the medical facility, and then they get teased and shunned. And then how would you expect them to react to you? How would you expect them to care for what's going on when that person goes missing? They don't. That motherfucker goes missing? Okay, just another day in the neighborhood. Let's give me a new one. And it's sad that that's the narrative. They do need to be investigated. People who've committed the murders need to be brought to justice. And if you are a Fort Hood soldier right now and you think you're not going to get caught, bruh, 90% of the people you work with are dumb. Very stupid people. But they're very observant motherfuckers. They will place you geographically with or without them. And if you're not with them, then you're going to be the X factor. And if you can't account for your whereabouts, you are going to be in trouble. And you think that, they're never going to find, Private so-and-so's body, or, Specialist so-and-so's body, or Sergeant First Class so-and-so's body. And I can almost guarantee it's the NCOs doing it. Because the NCOs are put under a tremendous amount of pressure, not just to perform, but to lead and have a specific outcome to their leadership. So you literally have situations where it's just advantageous to encourage that person to quietly disappear. And if they don't do it on their own, then they get disappeared. Now, there's something else that I've been wanting to bring up too. You have people that are you have instances where a man stole a pair of hedge trimmers back in the day and was awarded a life sentence. And you have people that have committed petty, small, first time offense crimes like, man, I sold an ounce of marijuana, or I sold crack cocaine on the streets, but it wasn't a lie. It was just like a street value, a couple $100. And they've been slapped with life sentences, and then they're coming up on the appeals process right now. So they're trying to file these appeals, and then they're getting rewarded with good behavior. With, yeah, we're not going to go ahead and allow that appeal. We're going to keep you in prison for life. And their basis is, well, you committed it at a time when, things were really hair raising and there was a lot of murders, but they don't take into account what you are actually doing. They don't care. They want to keep you in the system because it doesn't pay to release you. It does not pay to release you. So you have a lot of angry people out there who are like, man, I just want to I want to do something. So you protest, you march, you be an activist for a little bit, and you find out that you're hit with a dichotomy, right? You're hit with, man, I need to be, more Martin Luther King, but I feel like I want to be more Malcolm X. Okay, fair. You have some people acting in a manner that is more Martin Luther King, peaceful, trying to get the attention of the, the local governments and things like that. But they've reached a point where they just don't care. You could show the most heinous thing on the news, like law enforcement officers shooting people in the face and the head with these rubber bullets, and officers beating the hell out of people, and brutalizing people, shooting them with hoses. Everything you could possibly imagine is brutality, and they don't care. They're not going to change. They're not going to do anything for the people because they don't work for the people. They work for themselves, right? They've determined, hey, I'm a judge. I'm the king of my kingdom here, my little fiefdom, and I have these foot soldiers called police that work for me. I practice law from the bench, and the prosecutors and me, and the police, we all make this amount of money, and we got to keep that revenue going because that's how we get our bonuses, right? That's how we have this relationship with these for-profit prisons who are demanding per contract, hey, you need to keep this body count up at 74 or 75 or even 80% in this prison. Because if you don't, we're going to fine you, or we're going to go after you legally because you signed this contract with us. That's the problem. Okay? So you have a lot of people out there that are fired up, man, like I want to do something. You already have a lot of people setting shit on fire. Like, if you were truly mad about the system, like if you were really truly mad about the system, here's what you would do. One, you would go after the people, right? So the movie Fight Club wasn't just kind of a funny book. It was a book that illustrated something very clear to people. And it illustrates that, hey, the people that are around you, that serve you, that all the essential people that we're finding out are really essential versus the people that we thought were essential, but they're not essential. Those people who make less than everybody, who get shit on by everybody constantly, who are looked down upon, for their role in society as non-essential, but when shit hits the fan, they become essential, are getting fed up. They're tired of being shot. They're tired of being beaten. They're tired of being not listened to. So they can reach out and touch you in a very real fucking way. Whether you're a judge, a politician, a police chief, doesn't matter your role in the small government, doesn't matter your role, in that societal makeup, they can and will reach out and touch you and have that ability. People need to start doing that. I'm telling you right now, if you go after people and you eliminate them at their home, if you take away their ability to go home, if you take away their ability to sleep at night for fear of being fucked up, then what you're going to do is you're going to change the dynamic of the conversation. Also, too, if you actually burn down the physical locations of these little fiefdoms, courthouses, government buildings, they're going to have to hold office from Zoom call. And then if they can't go home, they can't go to the office, and they're, hiding in bunkers all over the place, then they're not really going to be able to effectively lead or do anything that they do, because they're being disrupted so much, because people are on that verge of hating them so much that they are willing to commit murder and arson and all these other things to even people that align with them, because it's so fucked up. Like, you have so many people that are like, back the blue lives matter, and then you got the other side, ACAB, all cops are bastards, blue lives murder, there's no such thing as blue lives, it's a job. So you have this dichotomy of branches of people where ultimately it's going to either result in a civil war that the people who are for the government are going to lose bad, super bad. And people that are regular Joes trying to live a life, trying to move forward, trying to be positive during a pandemic, which we found out from the CDC isn't really a pandemic. They just kind of inflated the numbers for a long time. And the death toll isn't really what it is. It's just kind of, now we have to make this death toll a lot smaller, because the ones that actually died from just COVID, right around 9,000, 10,000 people. But other people who've had either pre-existing conditions or who had multiple ways that they passed are a different number. They're just different factors that led to their death. So, to attribute them as a strictly COVID death, it was for the money. It was for the federal money. It was for the clout to say, you know what it came to? It actually became kind of a pride thing. Well, we have more deaths for COVID here. And, and we did, I would agree with Trump on this. We did do more testing than the other countries. I think the other countries just gave the fuck up. They're like, we're done testing. We're done trying to keep up with the United States on how we're going to report. We're going to do everything business as usual, and business as usual. They didn't do anything that was any different that really shielded them from coronavirus than what other people are doing here. Then you have people that are for the mask and against the mask, and people fighting in the streets, because, you didn't wear a mask. Like, people are totally willing to get slapped in the fucking mouth for doing things that they think is okay to do, because that person in their brain isn't doing what society wants them to do. For example, there's a clip out there where these two gentlemen were having a conversation, and Miss His and Her Thing come walking by with coffee and spilt coffee on these two gentlemen. These two gentlemen are probably a little older, probably in their 40s, bigger guys. The guy that had the coffee spills on him started fucking up the dude that had the issue, started whooping his ass, because, it's this young guy who thinks he's Mr. Thing, who has this girl who's way too full of her own importance to try and throw hot coffee, on people that they disagree with because they aren't wearing a mask. Like, listen, you throw coffee on me, you're going to get hands. You don't know if I have a medical exemption. You don't know if I'm not around people and I'm just talking with me and my buddy and we don't choose to wear masks, then that's what we don't choose to wear a mask. If you try and force people to wear a mask who aren't in a situation where they are obligated to wear a mask, like if you're trying to patronize a building or, patronize a business, like, I get it. I get it at that point, okay? You're going into their property to be a patron of their business. put on the mask or show like, hey, I got a medical exemption. I can't wear this mask. I have, this medical issue. Show it. Okay, great. Does it mean you have to show them like your disability? No, you don't. That's a totally different issue. But if you say, hey, I have a medical exemption. This is my medical exemption. This is, and you're able to show proof of that, then fine. But if you're out in the park, you're out in the streets, and you're just walking, or you're sitting having a conversation with your buddy, and somebody comes and assaults you because you're not wearing a mask, they should absolutely get their ass whooped to the point where it's like, damn, I realized I fucked up so bad that I got my ass beat so bad that I will never do that shit again. I will reevaluate every fucking thing I do from now on. Because people are too confident or too dumb, I guess, to think that people will not react to them. I don't care how many muscles you have. Like the dude that's 42 years old with a beer belly, fucking, dad jeans and dad pants, dad shoes, just whooped your muscled up ass because you threw coffee on him. You can't eat chingazos from a 280 pound man. Can't fucking do it. Not long or consistently. And if you can, and you can move away and you're okay with getting your ass whooped, and then you have to have your lady help you, and then she starts getting her ass whooped by the other person who happens to be a geriatric who's also 200 plus pounds and starting fucking up your bitch, then you deserve the ass whipping you absolutely deserve. Because you don't assault people, you don't throw coffee on people and expect them to not react, okay? And not only that, they have video of you committing the act first. So that's assault. Whether you guys file it in court against each other, the person who committed the act first is going to catch the charge. I'm sorry, Miss His and Her thing. You're going to catch an assault charge, and what does that serve you? It doesn't serve you at all. It would have served you to mind your own fucking business and walk to the other side of the street if you don't want to interact with those people. Okay? Drop a few words, keep walking. Don't throw coffee on people and get fucked up. That's dumb. Okay? You have people in this country that are absolutely fucking amazing. They don't know their rights, right? So you have people who are journalists who are going to these hospitals where there's literally no one driving through. There's nobody at these hospitals. They're trying to report on what's going on. And people obviously don't know what a stringer or an independent journalist is. You don't need to be part of an organization to be a journalist. Where that misconception came, I have no idea. I have no clue why people think that you have to be part of an organization who they themselves issue a credential for, because there's no governing body for journalist credentials. And if your police department or your city, starts issuing credentials, they actually violate the First Amendment, because everybody has the right to be a journalist. Everybody. I don't care if you're Miss Joe Smith or whatever, Mr. Joe Smith down the street who only wants to talk about aliens. Well, by golly, he can talk about aliens all he wants, and he can do as much investigating as he wants, as long as he's on public property at a time and manner in which he's allowed to be. If you're standing outside and filming a hospital area in a time and a manner that you're allowed to be, and they come and say, you can't do that, or, hey, it's a federal building, so what? So what, you moron piece of shit motherfuckers? Absolutely you can. You absolutely can. Like, where people have this notion is like, you need permission to film me. No, we don't, you dumb bitch. Like, if you're going to approach somebody with a camera and get in their face about the fact that they're filming in your general fucking direction, ignore them. If you don't want to be on camera, so fucking what? You're out in public. Stay your ass at home. Stay your ass in your little safe space. Fucking society is not your safe space. You're not given the privilege of privacy out in public, you dumb pieces of shit. Also, if you're a business, you're open to public scrutiny if you're receiving federal fucking funds, you dumb pieces of shit. So when you hire these ignorant, dumb, young, or even old motherfuckers who come up to journalists and say, you can't do that because I don't agree with you. You make your company, you make your organization, and they themselves make themselves look really fucking moronic on film. Like, I can't wait till I recognize somebody that's done that and I get a chance to freaking clown their ass in public. I don't care if I'll be at a Target. They'll be like, oh man, you were that dumbass security guard that was like, hey, you can't film in here. Now you look like a fucking clown. They're going to have to eat that shit because it's true. There's no malice there. It's just true. You look like a dumbass on film. If you want to look like a dumbass on film, that's on you. Also, geez Louise. Okay, so this pisses me off. A lot of people are like, yo, fuck Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever that kid's name was. Yo, firstly, I agree. The kid committed crimes and he's a dirtbag. Okay, we get that, right? You know, but given the situation he was in, regardless, had it been an 18-year-old person who was from that area, who was allowed to carry, and they were defending themselves because they have a different view than everybody else, it would be an entirely different narrative. But he happened to be from a different state. He happened to be underage, a minor, and he happened to be right wing. Okay, you know, you remove all those variables. And he's, at the end of the day, he still defended himself from people who were going to do him harm. You attack somebody with a gun with a skateboard and your intention is to do them harm, you're going to get shot. If you attack someone with a gun, period, and you want to put hands on them, you want to endanger their life, especially if they're a young person, and you're going hands-on or you're walking towards them with a handgun, and you think that you're going to get within so many feet to just put a cap in their head, like, you're not only woefully ignorant, but you absolutely should be shot. And you got to look at the people he shot. People who want to tear Kyle down. He killed what did he kill? The child molester. He killed another criminal, and he shot another criminal. Like, everybody that he fucking handled were pieces of shit. They were pieces of shit. And then you guys are gonna bag on this kid? Fucking shame. On the flip side, yeah, was he underage? Should he have been able to have that weapon doing his thing? No. This kid traveled across state lines, and he, you know, a lot of people are like, well, he was looking for a fight. Anytime you go to a protest, that's not the narrative you should be pushing. It's, hey, this guy's looking to voice his opinion and have his point of view. It's not, oh man, you're looking for a fight, because that flip script can come right back on you. Why are you at this protest? Why are you at this march? Why are you here? You know, and if your answer is, hey, I'm protesting, no, bitch, you're looking for a fight. You're looking to get scrappy with people who don't have the same views as you. And if that's your mission, be about that, okay? But don't turn around and fucking cry foul when somebody turns that shit on you with a weapon to defend themselves. You crying little bitches. Tired of that shit. Also, I agree with you on, like, hey, the guy going into his vehicle, I'm sorry, the cop should have acted better. Absolutely. You don't put 7 bullets in a dude's back because you can't physically handle him. Like, how about trying a little bit of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, you pussy motherfuckers? Like, how is that not a thing? Like, why can't you go hands-on when you got 3 or 4 officers there? What is going on here in the United States that 90% of officers are straight pussies, straight bitches, straight can't handle a fight, straight can't wrestle, straight can't do jiu-jitsu, straight can't do shit, apparently, without shooting people? Right? Like, you see scenes in Chicago and other places where cops are getting their ass handed to them by a mob. Well, I'm sorry. Don't put yourself in that situation where you're getting mob fucked up, okay? I agree with the people. Sometimes, yeah, the people are right. If you got a situation where cops murder someone in that community, Breonna Taylor, and there's no justice, there's nothing being done about it, and your fucking armed goons are out there threatening people and hitting people with batons and shit, and then the people get mad enough to actually start fucking them up, then it's on you bitches. It is absolutely on you, because you're putting people out there who, by virtue of wearing the uniform, are going to get fucked up in that situation. Okay? We have no sympathy for cops who get fucked up in the line of duty when they're protecting murderers. You would not have a protest there if you would have immediately turned around. You did an investigation. You realized you stopped trying to get the guy they were actually after to incriminate Breonna Taylor. Like when I read that article, I was absolutely fucking appalled. Like, how fucking dare you try and get someone? Man, we're gonna give you a lighter sentence. We're gonna give you a plea deal if only you incriminate Breonna. Like, she did nothing to nobody and was killed for it. And then you're trying to go as far as trying to protect those cops who committed the murder. Every cop involved in that situation, the judge involved in that situation, because he carelessly signed a warrant, he did not do his due diligence. Everybody there should be locked up and put in prison for life. I don't care. Lock them up, throw away the key. And then you wouldn't have people rioting, you wouldn't have people fucking up your city, and you wouldn't have people fucking up your cops. Take accountability. Arrest those bitches. Anyways, I'm going to leave it as is. A little bit of a recap. Breonna Taylor was murdered. Kyle Rittenhouse, whatever the fuck his name is, did defend himself, but he was also in the wrong. You can't dispute that. The actions that need to be taken in order to take serious enough action to do something about it is, one, people need to literally go after the power players, the judges, the prosecutors, the public officials. Really do damage. The mayor, the governor, your congressman, literally reach out and touch them physically if you have to get the message across that they need to change the way they're doing things, or literally burn down the institutions that they're involved in. Like, if you're going to storm a Capitol building, burn it down. It's okay. It's your Capitol building. You can rebuild another one, or if it's easier to keep it, standing, remove the people from that institution. It's okay. You're allowed to form a militia, take armed people into these places, and remove these government tyrants. You're allowed to do that by the Constitution. If they call in government people to defend them, you can kill them too. That is okay. Because the people who are being called in are the National Guard. One, they're poorly trained. They are not the best trained people in the world. Two, it's extremely sad that they don't think for themselves to say, hey, we're not going to get involved in this situation because, hey, going against them violates our Constitution. But you do need a well-regulated militia. So it's not hard to formulate a militia. It's not hard to really assign ranks, get everything militaristic, and take a large volume of people, go into these different places, and literally throw down with the government entities that are there, remove them physically from office, detain them, okay, and send them on their merry fucking way if they resist. You can absolutely do that. If they're going to resist you, they're resisting the people. They need to be removed from office. Also, if you're more of a letter pusher, then great. You don't have to allow these people to stay in office. File the necessary paperwork, get the necessary signatures to remove them. Okay? Does it take a little bit longer to go that way? Yeah. Does it take quite a bit of time to formulate a militia or to join your local militia and have that same mission to go in there and fuck shit up? Yeah, it does. It does take time. But if you're willing to do it, then do it. Okay? But this isn't a screaming call to action, but it's also a glaring opportunity to say, hey, we have Christopher Dorners for a reason. We have people willing to do damage and arson and murder and all this stuff for a reason. Okay? And then another little bit of the recap is Fort Hood. Fort Hood is an absolutely terrible place that should absolutely be investigated. Everybody in a leadership position with every unit, every battalion should absolutely be fired. Also, I do believe they deserve prison time. They absolutely have no concept of leadership. They've failed their soldiers on such a grandiose scale that it's almost unreal, and it's been allowed to go on for so long. So firing the head person on post is not going to help you. The heads that need a roll are everybody in a leadership position, part of every battalion, every unit, everywhere. Heads roll. Take their rank and pay, throw them in a prison cell, get new recruits, get new soldiers there. That's what needs to happen.